Caroline Winkler is an interior design YouTuber, and I think that her apartment, old apartment, if you know, you know, is a really great example, especially for anyone who is renting, who is trying to make a cozy space without putting a bunch of paint on the walls because your landlord won't let you paint it anything but landlord white. Let's get into it.
I think one of my favorite things about thrifting is that you always have a story and a memory around finding the piece. You have to do hunting, like you're sweating, you might cry, like you get stuck on the highway in order to find these little pieces. There's always a story and a memory. So rather than just like an aesthetic piece you add to your home, there's a whole day wrapped around all these little items. It's nice.
This is also something that I love about thrifting. The way that it fills your home with more than furniture, it fills it with story. I, for a long time, was not a thrifter. I talked about it in, I think, my New Year's resolutions video. I'll link it above. But I hated thrifting for so long. And then I realized I was doing it wrong. And once I kind of shifted the ethos of how I thrift, oh wow, it changed everything. And now truly my favorite piece is the like first piece I ever thrifted. It's this big dresser, and my partner and I lost our place in a fire in January. That dresser is the thing that we rescued. Our place didn't burn down, but we had smoke and ash damage. We got rid of just everything. Nothing was salvageable. I went so above and beyond to rescue that dresser because the story behind it was because we had thrifted it. And not just because like we went to a Goodwill and picked it up and rented a U-Haul, and you know, it was the journey of getting and finding that dresser that made it like, no, this is my most sentimental piece and we have to rescue it. Like we have to. And we did, and now it is my parents' house, waiting until we have a home again to come back to.
Hi, I'm Caroline, and welcome to my handmade home in Washington, D.C.
She's the cutest. I love her content. If you're not subscribed to her, you should go subscribe.
I'm a YouTuber. I have an interior design YouTube channel. I also have a podcast. I've been in this apartment for a little over 2 years now, and I feel like it now feels like my home. Yeah. The bay windows in my apartment were 100% the selling point for me. There's really high ceilings, there's nice millwork, but I think the windows do most of the heavy lifting.
If you are lucky enough to have a space that has architectural interest, let it do the lift for you. A lot of us are not, because a lot of us are in boring little beige cookie cutter rentals that have almost no character. And that's a whole different conversation, how to add character to those homes, right? But if you have architectural interest, don't fight it. Like, let it be what it is. Look at this little dining nook moment. Like, she has done very little to the space. She hung a couple of curtains to frame out the windows. A+ idea. I love the way that adding the fabric in between the windows really subtly just gives you kind of a cozy, warm feeling in the space, right? I love how it's monochromatic, so it's not demanding too much attention. It's just letting outside kind of do the thing. Inside, it looks like she has red brick, along with obviously the trees, which are bare right now. But what I love about that is that I'm sure that this is a beautiful view in the spring and summer when those trees start to flower and have leaves. But in the winter even, the red brick against the yellow of the curtains, what a beautiful warm color palette. So that makes these yellow curtains a really smart choice. She could have picked a blue, for example, and that would bring balance to the red. But by having it be a warm color, looking out at a warm color, it gives the whole thing overall a cozy feeling. And then the wood table, like it feels unpretentious. It feels kind of sturdy. It doesn't feel precious or fragile in any way. I think this is such a great moment. What a blessing. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have this little nook. I would maybe add some stained glass above the thing, but that's just me, and that's because it's trendy.
One of my proudest things in this apartment, actually the first thing I had before I even found the apartment, was this dining table, which I thrifted. I got from Facebook Marketplace, $300. It's possibly not the right shape for the bay windows, but it's so easy to live with. It makes the space very livable. So I really love it. And I do spend a lot of time here working, moping, like spiraling, reflecting. This is where most of my activities happen. It's scuffed in the correct way, so I don't feel precious about like getting candle wax or markers or pins or scratches, and that felt very important to me. Everyone loves this table, and everyone is correct. It's good.
It's a beautiful table. It's a very good wood. I love that it is already scuffed. It just seems like a really sturdy piece to live your life on.
I do really like to try to find opportunities to add color or pattern or more interest to your apartment that's probably bare white walls. Even just adding curtains to my living room. These are like faux curtains. These curtains don't actually close, but they add dimension, they add color, a little bit of texture, make it a little cozier and softer. And then that ends up being like the pop of color in the living room.
I'm mortified by the fact that there is no privacy. Like, I don't mind that they're faux curtains. I think that's actually a really great hack. I'm sure that you can get curtain rods that are designed for bay windows. I'm sure that exists. I'm terrified of the fact that you're just living your life out in the open like this. Not you specifically, but it makes me nervous. I would need to add personally something that gave me a little bit of privacy when the sun goes down, because I don't trust it.
And then, yeah, I do actually spend most of my time sitting right here working, which is why I hung these two little frames very randomly on this tiny sliver of wall. It's not an obvious choice, but I hung them up for me. I think those are the little fun things to find in your space of like, what would make me delight in this, as opposed to like the Instagram post or whatever.
Oh, that's so cute. No, I love that. Putting frames where she looks the most often, like making that visually pleasing for her is so charming, and not caring that it's like an unexpected place. Those are the things that make your space magic.
If I had to describe my home in 3 words, it would be cozy. I definitely want my home to feel homey, just like welcoming, calming, not just for presentation, not just like a museum, and durable, because I want people to feel like they can relax, like they can put their feet up on the couch, like they can, spill on the table. I often got in trouble for that growing up, and I'm committed to having a home now that like, you can live in it, you can break things, you can scratch things, it's okay. And it's haunted. And it's haunted. Listen, I don't know the details, I'm not in charge of the haunting. I still like the space. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. There's a presence in moments, yeah.
I'm not in charge of the haunting.
I used to work as a software developer and I did UX design. And that's actually where I learned a lot of design principles. I think what I really honed in website design is balancing form with function, like the way you move through a website, the way you move through a space. That's like a main part of design, not just the colors and the drapes and the cool decor pieces, but what makes it functional.
This is such an important thing. Interior design is so much more than interior design. Building a home, building a space is so much more than the design of the space, the visuals or the actual furniture you pick or whatever. I think that we should always be seeking inspiration from outside sources. I think we should always be learning lessons from outside sources. One of the biggest, most groundbreaking discoveries for me in interior design happened during a couples therapy session when we were talking about something that had nothing to do with interior design. Going through your life, taking lessons and then learning how you can apply them to your home is so important. What do you learn in your job that can be applied to your home? Where do you seek inspiration that is more than just looking at photos of living rooms on Pinterest? Not that there's not value in that, but can you get inspiration from other places? From art, from music, from dance, from books, from TV, from architecture, from nature? Can you find inspiration for your space other places? Hi, hello from my editing hole. Look, if you are interested in seeing what is possible when you lean on inspiration sources that are not just photos of other people's homes, go check out this video right here. The last home in this video is the home of visual artist Robert Montgomery, and it truly changed me. Like, it shook me to my core. Genuinely not an exaggeration. You gotta check it out.
There are tiny things in my home that I feel like make it exponentially more livable. For example, when you enter the apartment, you're immediately in my living room. Like, there's no entryway, there's no time to collect yourself. You're immediately in the heart of the apartment. I had to kind of fake my way to various drop zones.
I love that little red hook. What a sweet moment.
Immediately somewhere I can hang my purses, I can hang my coat, I can drop my keys so I know where they're gonna be, because otherwise I'm losing them. Another tiny addition, I have this corner next to my couch where there's not really room for a side table. I ended up putting a tiny shelf, and it makes all the difference in the world to not just be having to hold your phone when a guest is over, to have somewhere to put your drink down. I think those are often overlooked in design, but those tiny pieces are what make the space livable makes it like easy to navigate. And I think working on websites kind of got me thinking about that a lot.
That tiny, tiny shelf is actually one of my favorite moments in the home. So cute and so sweet. And I love that it's both practical. You can put your drink there, but the design, I don't know if that vase is always there or if it was staged for the video, but I love it so much. It's just this like weird, quirky little floating flower vase is so sweet.
This guy is probably one of the first things people comment on, DIY artwork. I did make it, which you can tell if you look closely, it's DIY. I had this giant wall and I wanted to do one large piece. I love fabric swatches. I collect them like nobody's business. It's just like a personal addiction. And so I made this DIY canvas like frame and put the fabric swatches up there. The frame is falling apart and I won't be fixing it. And here's why. The way I feel about DIYs is kind of the same as tattoos. Like, they're a snapshot of a moment. They can just be a representation of something you're excited about and something you tried and permanently put on your wall or your body in the moment. And the beauty of them changes over time. I'm not gonna fix this frame, so people need to stop asking me to.
If you know her content, she is known, like this is kind of her iconic background for her videos. Like you can identify a Caroline Winkler video by this image, right? It's so sweet. And I always thought it was paint chips, but learning that it's fabric makes a lot of sense because it has a kind of depth and dimension and there's a nuance to the colors that I think only fabric can give that a flat paint chip really wouldn't. So the fact that these are textiles, that there's like a textural element to them makes so much sense, makes sense to why this piece sings so much. I do fundamentally disagree about DIY projects. I respect her ethos. I personally do not need her to fix this frame. Everyone leave her alone in the comments apparently. But I do think that if you have DIY'd something, it's allowed to evolve with you and it's allowed to evolve with your style. So if she decided that she wanted to mix up the style in her home and that meant that this DIY wanted to have a black frame instead of a white one or a gold ornate frame, even though it's not her vibe, let it evolve with you.
I really love this corner. I think this corner is underappreciated. I really love running artworks up the wall. These are DIY blind contourings I did, which is like a sketch when you don't look at the paper of my family members. You don't have to be a talented artist to do it and you can make something really personal. I love those. I just thrifted the frames. I thrifted my little like accent chair and it came with this bright blue cushion, which again, usually I don't do blue. Just use a spray adhesive to recover it. And then I use the same fabric to recover this lampshade. I love stuff like that where it's like, it's hard to mess it up and it still has a really big impact in personalizing your space.
Love the idea of using a fabric to DIY a lampshade. It's so simple, it's so straightforward, and it adds so much charm and whimsy and uniqueness. I feel like I always am struggling to find beautiful lampshades. And why am I not just adding fabric to them?
The thing I'm the most excited about right now are these shelves. They are custom made, handmade by my brother, who's an amazing woodworker. He has his own channel where he shows that. I couldn't really figure out a place to put my books. My amazing, talented brother made these shelves by hand for me. Every time I walk out into my living room, I like scream a little bit. I'm so happy. They're so special and completely customized to the space.
Those shelves are beautiful, but what's more beautiful about them is that they came from someone she loves. It's so important and so special to be able to bring in memories of people that you care about, bring in things that were made with the hands of the people who matter in your life, gifts that people have given to you that can be displayed with pride, or invite people into your home to help you create it. Maybe your brother is not an excellent woodworker with his own Etsy shop and YouTube channel, but maybe he can help you paint a wall. I remember I had friends in college who, when they moved into a new apartment, held a painting party where they invited all of their friends over to just have a painting night. And everyone got a canvas, and then at the end they hung all of the canvases as their wall art. And it was such a fun idea because then every time you like walk by, you're seeing things your friends made. How fun. Everyone should do that for your housewarming. You heard it here first. Well, I heard it there first. Can't take credit.
So that is basically the living room. Now follow me into the hallway. This is the little baby hallway that connects my front living room to my kitchen. It's a very tight space. There's these nice high ceilings, so I really like running the art all the way up and just like making a dramatic moment. I'm very dramatic. I think every home needs some art that upsets somebody, at least someone. If your home is full of art that everyone is equally okay with all the time, then you're probably living in a department store. Like, it's probably not going to feel very personal. People get so upset about, I don't know, I have all these portraits of old men and like really creepy paintings and 19th century drawings of like teeth. This one is how to wrap a human body, baby, leg, corpse. People really don't like that.
I wonder why.
This one is just of bacteria under a microscope. I love them. They're opinionated. Like, they have an opinion, they feel very personal. We all want our space to feel cohesive, but I think you can go like too hard on being cohesive and too hard on being matchy-matchy or correct and lose some of your personality. So I think if you like something weird, that's a great move.
If you like something weird, that's a great move. Put it in your space 100% and stop worrying if other people are gonna appreciate it or not. Some of my favorite art pieces are art pieces that have made my friends go, what? But you know what? It's my place, and I do what I want, and I wanted that on the wall. Thank you very much. Speaking of, hate this hallway so much. It gives me so much anxiety. I do not gravitate towards maximalism. I love it for her. I love that she loves it. I can understand intellectually that this is a designed space, and it makes my heart palpitate. The claustrophobia of it. I don't know what I would have done in this hallway. I for sure would have painted the door trim, like a pop of color, maybe a red, like something, I don't know, or a green, like something very bah. And I probably would have gone with a wallpaper. Maybe I would have done like framed wallpaper panels to mimic the idea of art without the width that the frames add. God, you're taking off like an inch to an inch and a half on either side. I just feel, I feel very squeezed in. But so maybe like wallpaper in some molding to kind of imitate art, or like a mural or something, would have been very cool. This is also very cool. I just cannot personally walk down that hallway.
And then if we go right down here at the other end of the hall is my bathroom, tiny bathroom. I tried to make some bold choices in my bathroom, and I think they're fine. I give myself like a B maybe, but it's definitely my least favorite space. I feel like I learned about needing to see what paint looks like when it's next to a light source, because the light source in there like blows out the paint to so much more bright orange, and I didn't really think about that. The way the bathroom looks now is actually the second time I've made it over. The first time I chose paint colors and a wallpaper that like they technically went together and they were the same color palette, but I didn't individually love any of them. And then when it was all finished, like it was cohesive technically, but I didn't really like it. Like it just fell flat, didn't do anything for me. I think in that moment I'd gotten distracted by like what works and what was correct or predictable, as opposed to something weird that really excited me. When the DIY or a design experiment doesn't go the way you want, just like, you know, it's like all of life, figure out what you learned from it, and that's really the only way you ever get to a final product that's like more personalized and feels like you.
I think she's giving great advice. Like, learn what you learn and keep it pushing. Like, it's okay to have to redesign a room. That's okay. It's okay to pick a new wallpaper for your bathroom or pick a new paint color. None of this is irreversible. None of this is really that serious. So don't be afraid to get in there and to experiment and play and figure out what you like, figure out what works for you.
One of my favorite spots in the apartment is in my kitchen, where there's just like a little sweet corner. The light is kind of moody and there's no seating in there, but there's a tiny stool, and I will sit on the stool like a child and like eat my meals there like a little rat or something, because I just love being in there and it feels so cozy. When I was apartment hunting, it was actually a big bonus to me that there was a separate kitchen. Because I love design, having separate rooms is really good. I know that open concept has been popular for a while, but it's really hard to make different design choices when all the rooms bleed into each other. So I love having a separate kitchen. And as you can see, I ended up painting it blue. When I moved in here, all of the walls were painted gray. I'm just renting. So my landlord said I could paint them either white or cream. I started with white, and I have since worked on him and worked on our relationship of trust to be able to ask him that I could paint other colors. And he basically trusts me to do anything now. I guess thinking about designing the space is really helpful to like find your starting point. And for me in this room, it was the thing I hated, which was the cherry cabinets. Like wouldn't have chosen it, but they're big, they're here, and how do you work with them? And so from there, I landed on the blue paint. And from the blue paint, I knew I wanted to have a lot of artwork and things that really popped. So I love getting a couple, I don't use this pan, like I don't cook, but it's so cute, it's so cute. Some like artworks that popped really nicely against the blue. Ooh, this is one of my most prized possessions in the whole world, or in this apartment, which is a little honey jar. This is a custom honey jar that I designed and my brother made by hand. Oh, I thrifted this marble washstand and it was pretty beat up when I got it.
Okay, wait, sorry. Back up. I think that having a place to sit, even if it's just a little stool, a place to sit in your kitchen, it's not for everyone, but for me, the kitchen is where I start my morning. It's where I end my day. When my partner and I were early dating before we had moved in together, they have a big kind of nook in their kitchen and it was storage. And I forced them, I didn't force them, they were consenting. I coerced them to put a big comfy armchair there instead of storage. It was initially so that while we were cooking, we could sit and talk, and it really became, I would go sit there in the morning before they woke up and drink coffee and read a book, and that was like my little perch in the house. And so I love that she has her little rat stool. One of the reasons that I think Caroline's house is such a great example for people is because most of the walls are white, and especially for renters, because there's not a lot of paint on the walls. This room is obviously an exception and it's beautiful, but for those of us who are not able to paint, I think she does a great example of how to really make a cozy home without having to paint every wall moody dusk by Sherwin-Williams, you know? And in this kitchen, I love that she's taking the thing that she hates the most, her words, these big cherry cabinets, and saying, okay, I can't change these, so what can I do to make them less terrible? And I think that if you have a really big something that you can't change, for a lot of people, especially a lot of renters, it's the floors, or it's the countertops, or it is the cabinet. Take that and use it to inform your design. Like, that is not changing, so now what? So she's balancing all of those red tones in the cherry with this beautiful blue. And wow, it's very effective.
There were just all these nicks and scratches. I just took a wood stain pen and fixed all the little cracks and scratches. Wood stain pen is one of your best friends. I feel like I revived this whole piece.
What a great example of being able to breathe a little bit of life into a piece of thrifted furniture without having to give it like a full rehab. I feel like in the world of TikTok furniture makeover, where people take just the scuggliest things and turn them into thousands of dollars worth of mid-century modern pieces, is amazing, but also has given me this impression personally that I can't restore furniture. I don't have a workshop. I'm not out here stripping finishes and sanding and doing the ASMR of it all. Like, so I guess I just can't thrift beat up things anymore. No, this is a piece that got a lot of life just from a little fill pen. Love it.
Also applied, this is just like a top, like peel and stick backsplash.
I know that this is video, but this is the best peel and stick backsplash I've ever seen. This is the most realistic, most convincing backsplash I've ever seen. I thought it was real tile, but also I just assumed it was real tile, like, because the space is designed so well. I think that there's something to be said for like assumptions. People aren't gonna walk in and just assume that everything in your apartment is peel and stick.
Back here, that kind of matches the blue paint on the walls. I love it. All renter friendly, just like updated hardware. I love updating hardware because you get to touch it, and every time you touch it, it like feels good in the soul, I feel like. Yeah, this is my teeny Tiny cozy kitchen.
When you are updating and investing in your home, investing in the pieces that you touch all the time, that's where I would put all your money. All your money. Kitchen cabinet handles, any handle, door handles, bathroom handles, like that's something that you touch multiple times a day, every single day. Let it be something you love to touch. It's gonna spark your joy anytime you open that cabinet.
So welcome to the bedroom. It is pretty tight. All the furniture in this room is thrifted or secondhand. I thrifted this bed, this 4-poster, for $100. Facebook Marketplace. And while this very nice man who sold it to me was attaching the bed to my car to drive home, he told me about how a friend of his died in the bed. And it also felt too late for me to back out, so I've just taken this bed and it is definitely haunted. I describe my home as haunted. This is just one of the many parts that are haunted. And I sleep comfortably, but I would say it is disturbed sleep.
No.
But I love it. I actually love this room so much.
No, get rid of the bed. Get rid of the bed. I simultaneously respect that she is making peace with the spirits in her home. And also, girl, what?
Very cozy, really high ceilings, which I wanted to emphasize by wallpapering the ceiling.
The wallpapered ceilings. Okay, wait, let's watch before I get too excited.
My amazing brother helped me with that. He's a saint. I probably owe him forever. It was like very difficult to do. I don't know that I would recommend. I might hire out. If you want to wallpaper your ceiling, I might hire out to do that. But I love it up there. It's a William Morris print.
I love a wallpapered ceiling. You may have heard me talk about it in this video or in this video. I'm a fan. And I think that here it is very effective. I think that it also does a good job to bring a lot of color and a lot of life into an otherwise pretty neutral space without completely overwhelming it. So this is an A+ choice from me. And the crown molding that she has really also makes it beautiful because it gives it a frame.
I really actually like the gallery wall in the corner here because it goes across 2 walls, which just feels fun and frivolous to me. There's also more art up there that people hate. This like creepy couple. It's just a print I got, but I love it. I love the weird tension, and some people say that might be contributing to the haunting in my apartment. It might.
100%. 100% it is contributing to the haunting. Without question.
But I take it. And I did tile. This is like a peel and stick tile on the fireplace.
Also, this chair is contributing to the haunting. Do not put a chair in your bedroom unless you want a ghost. The exception I feel is parents, because if you're a parent, my God, do you need a place to sit down that is not around your children? You're gonna have a ghost, because a ghost is gonna come sit in the chair at night and watch you sleep. It's not, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules of the hauntings, I just report them.
Which I really like because it is kind of an unexpected pattern. It's not just like more matchy florals. I like that it brings a little geometry, a little friction. That to me feels like less matchy, more personalized. I've got 3 different light sources other than the overhead. I'm trying to always get away from the overhead lighting. I don't look pretty in it, but also like it sets a better mood. So I've got this really sweet little
I love the pleated
lamp. This guy, and my favorite is the sconce over there, which is important for 2 reasons. First of all, because the apartment really is haunted, it's nice that I can turn off the last light without getting out of bed. I can just like be safe, turn off the light. And then it's over top one of my favorite thrifted pieces is this little baby artwork. It is such a good frame on it. It's really sweet. I probably got it for $5.
I love the way that the sconce is acting as an art light over that little piece of art. And then in turn, the way that that little piece of art is hiding the cord cover, it's making it feel more intentional. I think that's a really sweet moment.
There's this sense of urgency when I move in somewhere new to want to just have all your decor pieces selected and chosen and moved in and done. But the truth is to get a really lived in, homey, cozy space, it takes time and curating and layering and having the mix of items that are real memories from your life, not just collected in one shopping trip when you moved in, really helps your home feel so much more personal, like somebody's home, homey. Personally, I do feel that the most important opinion about your space is your own. It's not, does it match? It's not, is it cohesive? It's not, Will it look good on Pinterest? It's like, does this thing delight you? So if you can kind of, I think, keep a gauge for that little feeling of delight about things, you're on a good path.
The most important person's opinion about your home is yours. So if you like it, if it works for you, don't let anybody tell you otherwise, including me, including her, including anyone. Like, do you.